Welcome to Your Vote Counts, candidate interviews sponsored by Capital Community TV and the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties. My name is Bernadine Anderson, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, a nonpartisan political organization that works to educate ourselves and the public about government issues and civic responsibilities. In this program, we will present one of the candidates for Marion County Commissioner, Position 2. Today we have with us Bill Burgess. Colm Willis was unable to accept the invitation. All candidates for the selected races were invited and provided with alternative dates. Since it's important for the public to be able to see and hear the candidates and their positions, we strive to present as many candidates as possible. League of Women Voters neither supports nor opposes candidates. Our format for this program is as follows. The candidate has 3 minutes to give an opening statement outlining his background, qualifications, and top priorities if elected. Following that, the candidate will be given 1.5 minutes to answer questions that have been prepared by League members on current issues. The candidates were not given these questions ahead of time. At the end, there will be 2 minutes to make a closing statement in which to state the legacy he would like to leave if elected to that office. Mr. Burgess, your opening remarks.
Hello, my name is Bill Burgess. I'm committed to making Marion County government work for you. I've been your county clerk for a number of terms now, and I want to bring the same skills that I brought to that office. I'm known there for being effective, innovative, and efficient, and I want to bring those skills to the rest of Marion County. I have also served on the Salem City Council for 2 terms, which especially qualifies me for this position because we have to interact with 20 different cities, or get to interact with 20 different cities within the county. So I'm familiar with how to do that. And as the Marion County clerk, I work with all 20 cities when it comes to elections, as well as the school districts and the water districts and the fire districts, and all these people that are so important to uphold the integrity of and the livability of our county. I'm also a licensed pharmacist. Some people know me by that. I've been a pharmacy manager in Salem for over a dozen years before I went back to school in public administration because I wanted to help make things better for people. That's why I was in pharmacy too, but I decided that it was good to, from an administrative point of view, try to make sure that government served everybody, not just the rich and powerful, but everybody. And so going back to school in public administration was a really good avenue. And that's given me even more skills and more experience to be your county commissioner. As your county commissioner, there are quite a few issues. Public safety is number one, always has been, but there are a lot of other things that are congruent with that, and some of them like the homelessness, affordable housing, health care, especially mental health care, and especially drug and addiction services where people need treatment but they can't get to that. They're all intertwined. And another one that I think is a really big issue has to do with domestic violence, and I believe if we can form a campaign similar to what we did with Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, and especially in light of the Me Too movement, now is a good time for us to work on ways through preventative care and through campaigns to change behavior, the norms of behavior, to make the world safer, or our communities at least, safer for people where they don't have to live in so much fear, and to help it so that the children can thrive better.
Mr. Burgess, we'll begin with our first question. How would you strengthen the county's working relationships with surrounding jurisdictions on issues like you've mentioned, transportation, policing, and social service?
How would we strengthen that? Well, right now, fortunately, Marion County has done a stellar job in that we do have good relationships with these different communities right now. We have a commissioner that serves on the area-wide transportation committee through the Council of Governments. We also through the county, chair the safety committee, the law enforcement safety committee, which has entities from some of the different cities, as well as police chiefs, and the defense bar and prosecution bar, and all together, actually, there's about 40 people in this large committee that work together to make these things work. Those are just a couple of examples, but there's a lot more that we can do. The commissioners get around to different meetings. We serve on almost too many boards to keep track of. But that's what we have to do. It's listening and talking and sharing together, and also knowing that sometimes just by talking the issue over once or twice, a solution doesn't come up that way. Sometimes it takes a while before something comes up to become even a better answer to solve a particular problem. And it is ongoing. It's never ending.
Thank you. Second question, and related to this one. What do you see as the county's major needs and its goals?
Gosh, major needs. There are so many different things right now. If you talk about just the temporal things, we're talking about making sure that we have water in the Detroit Dam, and the making sure that the salmon are safe, but also, more important to me, making sure that people downstream have water, making sure that the people that need to irrigate have water and all that. That's one thing that we need to take care of. There are long-term, if you look at global warming or climate change, which I believe is real, maybe sort of a novel idea for some people, I believe that we need to work on things for that, as far as like even with our agricultural folks, Extension Service, making sure that we have the right crops for the future, making sure that we have more water for the future, and take care of the other types of health issues, and make sure that we're working toward more green power and trying to limit our carbon footprint so that we can keep this community a better place for future generations.
Thank you. Question 3. What role should the county take in pursuing limitations on single-use plastics and styrofoam, such as plastic bags and the takeout containers?
Okay, certainly I'm a person from the era where we had all our plastic with the numbers on it, and we washed it out and we recycled it, and now I can't do that. Now it's when in doubt, throw it out, and it really hurts me to do that. As far as styrofoam and plastic bags, we certainly can't get them into our regular waste stream the way folks like Garton handle it now. It just gums up the machines. But I think there can be some way to find uses of reusing those bags. I know that the City Council is talking about limiting the availability of those. I'm not there yet on the limiting the availability to people, because I think plastic bags are useful in lots of different ways. Maybe once I study it more, I might agree, but I'm not there. As far as styrofoam, I think we've been for years trying not to use styrofoam for food. Styrofoam for packing, though, we've got a really good plan. If you've got clean styrofoam for packing, please bring it to the Fresh Start Center that's on Center Street by the Juvenile Department, close to the Health Department. Reason being that our juveniles there take all that clean styrofoam and they put it in a machine, they press it, and it becomes a building material. Excuse me. A building material with insulation activity.
Thank you. Mr. Burgess, how can the county better coordinate county planning of infrastructure development to enhance the livability of our communities?
Well, one way we might, when it comes to things like affordable housing and homelessness, is we can look at ways we can zone or regulate development such that we can have more things like accessible dwelling units. In fact, the county has already done some of that. There may be some ways to do even more of that type of thing. We are always re-looking at and fine-tuning when it comes to comprehensive plan, zoning, and building standards to try to make things better for folks. We certainly have a program for bridges right now where we're strengthening a lot of our bridges, and we could do more. We have a program every year in the summertime to fix more and more road, because we have over 1,000 miles of road to maintain. And as there's more funding, we can do more to get that done.
Okay. How would you address revenue sources in order to better deal with mental health that you mentioned earlier and the homeless issues?
Okay, revenue sources for mental health generally come from state and federal funding, and that's grants. And so we have to actively look for those grants, number one. Number two, we have to be working in the legislature, to both state and federal, by the way, but mostly in state, to try to make sure that those grants become available. And we do that through testifying and lobbying and working with other people to try to make sure we have those grants. As far as housing, the federal government used to have a lot in the way of HUD funds, housing and urban development funds, and that's been cut back severely over the last few years, and actually decades, and then severely the last couple of years. And we really need to work hard with our legislators to try to bring money back there. There is another way that we might be able to fund some of that, is if one of these measure, I think it's, I'm not sure if it's 101 or 102 passes, will allow us to use bonding to help in developing affordable housing, because there are a lot of things that we could do, sometimes with putting a little package here and a little package there. So that's another way that we can find funding for that. There's a lot more to talk about than we can do in a minute and a half.
Last question. Of all these issues that you have addressed, do you describe any of them as critical for Marion County?
I think all of these issues are critical for Marion County, because we're talking about the livability of the county, we're talking about the viability of the county, safe, healthy, vibrant county for the future. Takes all of these things to be addressed. And above that, there are other issues that need to be addressed too. For civics to work, we have to have civics education. We have to have people volunteering and feeling a part of their community. So there are so many issues that I can't say just one. I really do think, though, that this is a good time for us to start the issue of saying that we're going to halt domestic violence. It's not going to happen anymore because we're going to make it just plain so socially unacceptable. And then that's going to relieve a lot of people of fear, and it'll give a lot of kids a better chance to thrive.
Thank you. At this time, then, we would like to hear your 2-minute closing remarks.
Oh my, okay. I'm Bill Burgess, your Marion County Clerk, running for Marion County Commissioner, so I can help set policy and make a difference for you to make this county even better than it is. The county's been doing a great job. We've got to continue what we're doing, but we can do even more. And if you'd like to look at my campaign, see what I stand for, since I don't have time to go through all of that, please go to electbillburgess.com. That's electbillburgess.com. If you like what I say, you can volunteer there, find out my campaign manager, campaign coordinator, all the folks, and work on our campaign. And you can take my website, you can share it with your friends on your email list, especially those in Marion County, because the ballots, in fact, I just came down from Portland today. We're working on getting our ballots ready to go in the mail. The ballot should hit in the mail the middle of October. And yes, we have to do this stuff ahead of time to make sure that it really works for you. Also, you can, if you like what you see, you can share my website on social media too. I think that's the big way that younger people are now communicating, because people don't seem to be reading the newspaper so much. But this avenue that CCTV and the League of Women Voters puts out is great, because it's YouTube, and people of all ages like to tune into this. And I'd like to really thank the League and CCTV for what you do in making democracy work for us. When you do decide you're going to go out and vote, though, there is Marion County puts out a voter's pamphlet. Please look that over so you can be informed and vote. The state will also put out another voter's pamphlet. If you have any problems or with getting your ballot, just give the Marion County Clerk's Office a call. They would be glad to help. If indeed, when we do check every signature, if indeed your signature doesn't match, we'll get a hold of you. Please respond to us if that happens, because it hurts if we can't count your ballot.
Thank you. That's all the time we have. You've been watching Your Vote Counts, candidate interview for Marion County Commissioner Position 2 with Mr. Bill Burgess. We hope you will watch our other candidate forums, and please see the CCTV website for time and dates. These programs are a public service to voters to become more acquainted with candidates who hope to lead our city, county, and state governments in the coming years. The last day to register to vote or to make changes to your registration is October 16th. Ballots will be mailed on October 17th, and they should be returned by November 6th at 8 p.m. Please remember that postmarks do not count. We urge you to make democracy work and be a voter. This is Bernadine Anderson for the League of Women Voters and CCTV, thanking you for watching. Your vote counts.